we're adding these cables, so we're building this cable railing to bring this deck railing up to code. The code says that you cannot pass a 4-inch diameter sphere through any part of your deck railing. To add the cables to this railing is really pretty simple. Just use a template to mark the holes at the proper spacing of basically a little over 3 inches apart. Drill holes through the posts. These holes here go through at an angle. I just put the drill this way and ran it that way. And then we put swage fittings at the end of the cable, and we just thread the cable all the way through to another swaged fitting at the end here. And then when you tighten up the nut on the swage fitting, it pulls the cable tight. And I'll show you that when we get started on this section over here. But first we still have to finish putting posts in, because this deck had no railings at all. But to be code, we have to put railings on any section of the deck that is more than 3 feet off the ground. So we're adding another post here, and then we'll put some intermediary posts in the middle, and then I'll show you how we drill the holes, put on the swaged fittings, and thread the cable through to make a nice secure railing. So we have to add a post here, and all I'm going to do is use the jigsaw to trim out these deck boards so that I can get this flush to the joist. And to give it stability, I'm going to dig a hole and just drop this post down into the hole, and then lag bolt the post to the joist. Okay, so to go over the materials that I'm using, I purchased these at erigging.com, and they have a lot of how-to videos, and there's a lot of how-to videos on the internet for making cable railings. This is galvanized, and you have a choice of galvanized or stainless steel aircraft cable. This is 18 gauge. I bought a spool of 1,000 feet, and with it I got a package of these swaged fittings. The way a fitting works is it just slips on the end of the cable. You crimp it so it stays in place, and then you use this bolt, or I'm sorry, this bolt will slip through whatever hole you make in wood or metal, and then you use this nut to tighten it up, and as you tighten it up, it'll pull the cable taut in your railing. I'm not sure the exact price, but I spent maybe $350 on all the materials that I needed to do the railing that you see here, and that's for this section, the hardware for this section, and then if you pan over that way, you'll see there's railing that runs all the way along the side of the house there, and then all across the front of the house here. Now that we've got all our posts set, I made up a template here with 3 3/4 inch separation. That'll give us a little insurance that we get our 4-inch spacing here by being a little short, so 3 3/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cable through and have it turn and make from back here, make this one long run to that corner. So I ultimately going to drill through at a 45-degree angle, but here I took my template and I offset it a little bit, and I'm just going to get these holes started just enough that I can run a bit through at an angle. So I'm really just marking my holes right now. Okay, that has them all marked. I have to take the template off. I've got my holes here, and I can run them at the 45-degree angle. So I'll use a square for that. So I'm going to drill through at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to use this part of my speed square as kind of a guide, so I can just lay my bit across that notch there. and approximate a 45-degree angle. You can stop for a minute. Okay, to put these swage fittings on the bolt end, you see, if you don't have a clean cut, threading this on can be a real pain. So that was good. And then we use this hydraulic swaging tool. Works kind of like a car jack. So once you crimp it down, turn this knob to release and the jaws will open. Tighten it back up. And I'm crimping it twice, even though one is probably good enough. There's room to make two. Loosen the jaws, and it's ready to go. Working without a helper, I'll have to pass this bolt end all the way through. And because I don't have anybody to hold this end, I'm just going to use this clamp and clamp the very end of the bolt. Then I come back to this end, I pull the wire taut, but just enough so I don't pull it loose, and I mark it right inside the hole, and I pull it loose. The clamp dropped off the other end, and I'm ready to cut this on my mark. So I'll cut the mark. Here we go. It's really important to get a good pair of cutters, because when you're trying to thread these ferrules, these swage fittings on here, if you have a bad cut, then your wire ends are going to get all caught up. And I'll crimp this. Drive it into the post and come to the other end. Bolt it on. Now you'll notice that these come to an intersection here. I just went a little bit above this cable, and then I also took the drill bit at a slight angle up so that I wouldn't run into my other fitting here. And with the last one done, it's just a question of going around and tensioning all of these up so we get a nice solid railing. Here we go. So again, we've filled in to make this old railing up to code, and then we added a railing around the hot tub.